Not nearly as experienced as some of his teammates. And that's well played. Getting it between Jonty Rhodes and Andrew Hudson in the covers. And so the first 2 runs for Ramesh. Forcefully hit by Ramesh, and it might just win the race to the boundary. It does, beating Peter Kirsten. So the first boundary of the day. It was another short, wide delivery, giving Raja space, and he flat batted it through the covers for 4.
Certainly a very positive start by Pakistan. They've been under pressure and some criticism because the batting has not been coming off on this tour.
Well, that was quite extraordinary. Again, Donald just straying down the leg side, and it was the absolute minimum of effort, and amazing how that one carried over the boundary.
It must have gone with the swing, and I certainly lost sight of it, but that's 6 runs.
Just look at that. Minimum of effort there from Ramesh, but beautifully timed and using the pace of the delivery and bringing him an unexpected 6 runs. And now he's got a couple more just backward of square.
Not a very good throw either.
The throw was not good because in coming back for the second, Ramesh was a little bit slow in starting, and a good throw right across the stumps, the top of the stumps, might have had him in some sort of trouble. They're already 14 runs off this over. And again he goes down the leg side. So 3 overs gone, 17 for no wicket. In the air, but safe.
Aamir, I think, a little carried away by the mood of Ramesh Raja. The chancy that shot was.
I'm not sure whether that would be the batting order. Saeed Fazal having his second game of the series, and Salim Malik, bit of a shock when he was left out, but he's back in, and Mushtaq Ahmed, the spinner, is also in the side. Alan Donald, can he get his line right now? It's a better delivery certainly to Ramesh. 5 for 29. That wonderful bowling performance against India in Calcutta, and that historic first trip to India in the first match at Eden Park Stadium. Now Ramesh for the second time finds the gap between Jonty Rhodes at backward point and cover. And there's 2 more runs. He's playing rather well off the back foot. Short, and he doesn't quite get hold of it, but he'll get 2 runs backward of square.
Once again, I think they may have been deceived by the pace of the wicket. The second time he's played the shot a little too early, or ball hasn't come on to the bat as quickly as he thought it would. Very quickly into that, didn't time it.
And there's 1 at each end. Nicely played by Sohail, and this will go for 4.
So now opening up, and I've often likened him to batsmen like Phil Simmons or Sirikant of India, or Sidhu of India for that matter. The sort of player who doesn't like to be tied down, gets on with it, and on his day he gets runs, and they're very, very attractive runs, and on other days he just falls down and comes to pieces.
So Merrick Pringle comes on. A little bit of a setback here for the South Africans, that Alan Donald was not himself this morning. In fact, he was all over the place and has proved so expensive that he's had to be changed, and it's Pringle who comes on to replace him. Razim Raja, Ramiz Raja in strike, and he doesn't start too promisingly either. So it seems as if this end is the bogey end this morning. Quite timing it, but still getting 2 for it. So the Pakistanis with a good start here. They've got 41 on the board already. This is the 9th over. Well, you see how fast it is now. That's going to go for 4. He really didn't hit that very hard. Seemed just to push it down the ground, but he had enough bat on it from the half volley for it to go for 4.
A very nice shot.
He's hit that away beautifully. He's very, very strong off the pads, Ramiz Raja, and that was a fine shot.
Yes, almost a wedge. It almost stopped before hitting the boundary because it was hit high, and as it stopped, hit the grass, it almost stopped, but managed to roll on. And an excellent, excellent shot. That's where these Pakistanis are really very strong. And the first boundary of the Villiers.
Beautifully struck in place. That's a fine straight drive. He really didn't go all the way through with the shot. Wasn't quite the half volley, and he just pushed it down the ground for a couple to bring up Pakistan's 50 at the end of the 10th over. Ramiz made a very quick start off Alan Donald, but Sohail is now beginning to find his range. Almost a return catch. Hit it uppishly. Just to the left of mid-wicket. That's a fine shot. Ramiz is extremely strong off his legs. There really is no batsman in international cricket now who is quite as strong. Well, we think so. Well struck, a lovely shot off the legs. Won't go quite all the way, although the outfield is so fast that it might, and in fact it does. Well, just emphasising Neervin's point about the speed of the outfield, that never looked as if it was going to go for 4.
Bit of hesitation here, and overthrows again. And my goodness, it's just not going South Africa's way out there today. Alan Donald started the day poorly by spraying it. But whereas we've come to expect the South Africans to swoop on those sort of things, throw the stumps down, suddenly they're missing the stumps and they're conceding overthrows, which just normally does not happen.
You'd have to do a bit of adjustment, taking Donald off before his 5 overs.
This is nicely played by Ramiz. He waited for it to come on to him. Timed it beautifully, placed it well to the onside of the stumps, and 4 more handsome runs. Vital match for both sides. It's really coming down to the wire now. Pakistan having beaten South Africa twice, but South Africa having beaten the West Indies twice, and the West Indies having beaten Pakistan twice. Amazing how it's worked out. So all level on 4 points. That was a fine stop on the covers by Kepler Wessels, setting the example there as the skipper. And Snell just touching that onto the wickets, and
Sohail very quickly touching the bat down in the crease.
Long chase around for Hudson, but he won't get there. Finding the gap between long off and deep extra cover.
It's a very affectionate banner.
So Ramirez gets to his 50. It's been a fine innings by his experienced opening batsman. He's not exactly 50.
And obviously plenty of support here for Pakistan, plenty of Pakistani flags, and what a fine innings this has been from Ramirez. He was unfortunately run out against the West Indies, but he's making amends in a very positive way here.
Well, he certainly didn't mean that to go there. There is no slip. He was playing on the onside again in the diametrically opposite position down through the vacant slip for 4, but 4 is 4, it counts, and it pushes Pakistan on to 111. Oh, that's a fine shot. That's beautifully played off his legs. Goes all the way for 4, so Donald comes back and is still in strife, and just to compound his misery, that was a no ball. He's gone, first wicket, easy catch to Kepler Wessels. So Ramesh Raja goes, and de Villiers gets yet another wicket in the series. Pakistan's superb opening partnership has ended at 121.
Well, rather casual, almost lazy shot there from Ramirez. But this is a break that South Africa needed very badly indeed. But all the same, what a fine job Ramirez has done for Pakistan in this tremendous opening partnership. The dismissal of Aamir Raja. And a very interesting move by Pakistan. They sent in Javed Miandad. He's in tremendous form, and I think that's a very fine decision.
10 overs, 1 for 32 against Pakistan in Durban, 3 for 27 off 10 against the West Indies in PE. Javed finally gets off the mark. He comes back very quickly for a second. Late decision by him. The third man is so deep, he was always going to beat the throw.
He's off the mark, uppish, but perfectly safe. There's no one anywhere near there. And then somewhat dicey second run. Could have been trouble for him. In the end, all is well for Miandad and for Pakistan.
Oh, that's well placed. Finding the gap between mid-on and mid-wicket. Not much of a gap, but they'll get free for it. So Alan Donald continues to concede proliferation of runs. 29 overs gone, 127 for 1.
Oh, Jonty Rhodes leaping for that one, and it was just wide of him. And Sohail, that was really one of his loosest shots played in this innings, but he gets away with it.
Ball into the wicket, and he's really getting nothing out.
by Kepler Wessels, who also took the catch to dismiss Ramesh. And suddenly Pakistan have lost 2 wickets in fairly quick succession, and that inevitably slows the scoring rate, and it's just what South Africa needed.
Absolutely vital. First ball of Alan Donald's over, slightly slower, and timing mistake by the batsman.